In the last 25 years, there have often been serious protests in Iran, but none put down as brutally as the latest uprising. Iran's rulers have shown no restraint, firing live bullets at crowds, killing thousands of people. Exactly how many thousand is unclear because the internet is still blocked. We talked about that yesterday. But what now? Has the regime succeeded in cowing the protesters for another few years? Last week, we spoke to the British-Iranian actor and writer Omid Djalili, who gave an impassioned plea for the protesters in Iran. I'm delighted to say he joins us now. Omid, morning to you.
Morning, Stig.
Is there a danger, and maybe Donald Trump, the great ADHD president, typifies this, that we all get excited about something and then the caravan of global opinion and attention moves on?
This is, I wake up every morning around 5 to 6 and I put the TV on and I watch again at 7 o'clock to see if Iran is in the news, and it's completely gone. So the Islamic regime narrative that everything's calmed down and everything's back to normal is something that the whole world has seemingly bought hook, line and sinker. We saw Iranian press TV having someone, I tweeted it, you should go and have a look at it. I had to go to the beginning to watch it again. They've got someone who's clearly in a studio with Iran, a very, very well-known part of Tehran, saying it's all back to normal. It was on a green screen behind her, and it was just pure lies. And I think the reason why I wanted to speak today is that we're getting very disturbing reports that actually the EU, somebody at the EU gave a speech and was mentioning chemical weapons as a matter of fact. Now, because the internet has been shut and we're now in day 13, this is something that really needs to be investigated. Chemical weapons is the big red line for the international community and world powers, that when used, that's when there are severe consequences. Some of you might be old enough to remember the Halabja massacre when Saddam Hussein basically wiped out 5,000 Kurds in one day, and it was part of a wider campaign which went on to kill 50,000 to 100,000 people. Chemical weapons are a weapon of mass destruction, and I think that this is something that the world needs to investigate. But oops, oh dear, the internet has been shut. So this is something that people should know, and it's being mentioned like it's a fact, but it needs to be investigated.
It's an excellent point, that Omid, and that should be done. Do you worry about Trump? Help is on its way was the line, and then some reporting has suggested then people like MBS called up and said, well, you can't directly hit Tehran. We don't want you to do it. And the danger is he now talks about Greenland before he talks about anything else. And are you worried that means he and America are no longer interested in this?
I think, everything that's being said is a worry. Any pronouncements, anything public is we don't know. We have no idea. There was a time when Donald Trump was saying, are you going to hit the nuclear sites at Natanz? And he goes, I need 2 weeks to think about it. It was done the next day. You don't know the smoke and mirrors campaign. We do know that there was a press conference with the opposition leader, Reza Pahlavi, where members of the press were mentioning, again, as fact, that warships were on their way from America to the Middle East, which we understand will arrive within the next 3 or 4, maybe 5 days. So who knows? Nobody knows. I can't really comment. All I can say is that the world needs to put pressure on this regime. The European Union announced they're going to do everything they can to put the IRGC on the terrorist list, because that's one way to isolate the regime. If it becomes a pariah, the IRGC is the Islamic regime. And if they're on the terrorist list, it means it becomes a pariah state. People move away. And this is something where I think the people of Iran have said, if you do this, there may not even be need for any kind of intervention.
Are you heartsick, Omid, or are you optimistic still? Because when we spoke to you last week, there felt that there was momentum, global momentum, these brave people were rising up and people were hearing them. How do you feel?
Yeah, well, look, when I came on, and by the way, I was on a press tour to try and promote a TV show that I'm doing called Betrayal on ITV, which is about Islamic regime terrorist attacks on UK soil. And I didn't even get to talk about it. I was on a press tour, I was scheduled, and I did those press tours, and you can see bits of it on my Instagram. I just felt I had to speak up with the people of Iran, but actually I went on pretty traumatized. I'm someone who's very upset with the way Iranian people have been treated, but I'd never seen the scale of devastation and loss of life and injuries. There are reports now, it could be anything up to 50,000, 42,000. All these numbers are being thrown around, but we don't know. Nobody knows. There are a few videos coming out, which is absolutely horrific. But I was traumatized and heartbroken, as you would be if you were away and you heard that basically the British government had turned on the British people, and whole areas of Bermondsey were taken out, and that 40 to 50,000 British people were killed by the government. It would seriously concern you. And I have to tell you, because there's no internet, I'd just like to give you this little analogy, if this helps people at all, is if you're in your house and there's a door that's locked and you know there are people in there, and you knock on the door and you say, "Is everyone all right?" and you don't hear anything, wouldn't you knock that door down and try and find out what the hell is going on? Yeah. And I think that all Iranians around the world are a little bit shocked that now there's this tactic of shutting down the internet. We cannot knock down the door and find out what's going on. We just have to wait and see videos that emerge a week, maybe 2 weeks later, and see the actual devastation. So again, I'm asking everyone, keep your eyes on Iran. Don't forget about it, because what's going on is exactly what the regime wants to happen. People to look away because they're not letting you see what's going on inside the country.
It's a great message, Omid, and we're very glad to have you on this programme to make it to us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Stig. Cheers.
That's Omid Djalili there. You can hear it in his voice there. Wants us not to forget about Iran.